they come from design backgrounds or analytics backgrounds or marketing backgrounds. So since product management, is a very generalist sort of role, and you need, some sort of skills from all of these areas. If you come from one of these areas, are sort of strong in that area, and then as you go along, you acquire sort of the other skills that you need as you go along.
Hello, hi, and welcome all. I'm Pushkar Shashvi again from Grow Junction, back with my new podcast session. And in today's podcast session, we have with us Ashish Khetani, who is currently working in product manager in Razorpay and has also worked with many companies like Droom and many other companies. And he's also an alumni of ISB Hyderabad. And yeah, Ashish, hi, how are you? Anything
Hi,
on?
Pushpa.
Sorry if I told anything wrong about you.
No, you're absolutely right. Hi, thanks for having me. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much for giving us time for having this podcast session with you. So Ashish, can you please introduce yourself to our audience into this?
There's nothing much you've left out, but I am currently working with Razorpay as a product manager too. And before this, I was working with Dunnhumby as a product manager again. And I've done my MBA from ISB. I did my specialization in marketing and strategy. And before my MBA life, I was working as a software engineer with Amdocs. So my journey has been, a very typical journey. I did my engineering, then worked as a software engineer, and then realized my interest more towards problem side of the things and customer side of the things. I think that part always appealed more to me. And hence it made very logical sense for me to get into product management, and that's how ISB and everything after that happened.
Oh wow, that was really great. And like you started your journey, Ashish, from software developer, right? Then you came into the product management way. Okay, so like what made you to went to product management, and how did you came to know about the product management?
It's not something that I had planned on. So when I joined my first company after engineering, I had no plans of doing MBA whatsoever. It's something that happened during those 3.5 years when you look around people that you work with, and you sort of look at them and think that, okay, this is the sort of work that I find appealing or I might find interesting, and you sort of explore those areas more. And that's how I sort of started exploring the product owner and the product manager role, and in the day-to-day life when you work with them, and you sort of find those things interesting. So that's how that idea took place in my mind. And then one after the other, you try to figure out what you need to do to sort of achieve that. And that's how I saw that a lot of people have been able to make that journey by bridging their skills gaps. Because as an engineer, as an engineer to a product manager, there are a lot of skill gaps that you need to bridge. And MBA sort of felt like a way to accelerate that transition. So that's how I started, thinking about MBA, then thinking about what exams that I need to do. So one after the other, you sort of, then once what journey that you want to make, after that you can, you start figuring things out as you go.
Okay. So that's great. That's great that you find the gap and you went to the product management way. So like Ashish, if you want to describe your journey till now, so how would you say till now? How has your journey been in your corporate life?
It has been, quite rewarding in terms of the kinds of people that I've worked with. Right from my first company to Razorpay, I've been, fortunate enough to work in 4 different industries and, organizations of all sizes. My first company was a, mega company with 22,000 employees. Then my next company was a startup with, less than 500 employees. Then I again went to a medium-sized company with around 8,000 employees across the globe. And now again, Razorpay, which is not, small enough to be called a startup, but it also has that culture still now. So it has been quite a rewarding experience in terms of the kinds of people that I've got to work with, the kind of problems that I've got to work on, and the industries that I've been able to work in. So there are nuances that learn in every different in industries. Some people find their interest in one industry and they want to stick to that particular industry, and that is also that is also fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just found that working in different industries, and my interest was just to work on different kinds of problems and to cover the breadth. But so till now, it has been quite interesting, and I'm fintech being my first time with Razorpay. It is an entirely different world altogether, right? You learn something new every day. So especially last 5 months have been quite interesting in terms of the kinds of things that you get to know every single day.
Wow.
So yeah, quite interesting and rewarding to know.
That's great. That's great. And as you told about the employees also, that you have worked with 25,000 employees and 8,000 employees. So small, medium, large. You have worked with startups also. So because startups is also a great place for learning if you want to learn a lot of things. So
yep.
Startup is also a great place. And I want to ask you, like, how is this product management, future? Like, as you have worked for so much years in product management, so how do you think this product management is gonna boom, or how is this product management career going to be in future?
So frankly, I've had just 3 years as a product manager, which is a very small, which is a very short time, because it's such a vast and different role, and its facades are different in different companies, right? If you ask me what's going to happen to the role itself in the future, I don't think I have a very good answer for that. But I feel a lot of companies are, now they've started to realize that they need product managers because they want someone to look at the they don't want their engineering teams to just ship out features. They want somebody to make sure that those features are solving the problems. So that product and engineering collaboration, and it has happened in the last 10-15 years, and in the second decade in India. But going forward, I think, and even if you see now, you'll see that a lot of companies are hiring for product managers in large numbers. So there are more and more companies which are trying to move to that sort of mindset, and hence they realize that they need product managers also to sort of blend in that culture.
All right, that's great. That's great. Then, as you told by this answer, so I think that product management is gonna grow and grow. Like in future, also it's gonna grow. It's never gonna come down, or nothing is gonna happen in product management, right?
I really don't want to make a definitive statement here, but I don't think that role is going to go anywhere. I think it's going to evolve with different technologies that we get, with different when companies grow in size, the roles and responsibilities of the product managers also change, right? So, and if you look at the engineering roles also, right, they are not the same as they were 20 years ago. But that roles haven't gone anywhere. You still need software engineers to build things, right? But that role has definitely evolved into something else over the last 20 years, right? So I think the same is going to happen to the product manager role. The roles are not going to go anywhere, but the kind of work that product managers do, it is keep on evolving with with new companies and the new problems that people realize that so see what happens is when companies are building something, right, they realize that there are some things that are not going right. There are some things to improve on, and the same thing happens with roles of the people also, right? Engineering roles similarly have evolved in the last 2 decades, because people realized that there were better things to do, right? There were better ways to software engineer, right? And with that sort of thinking in mind, the roles evolved. So I think the same thing will happen to product management roles also, and the role will evolve, and so will the people with it.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because as the technology keeps changing and people's mindset is also getting evolved. Like nowadays, electric cars and electric things are coming. So yeah, people are getting adapted to that also. So as you rightly told, that product management is gonna evolve and people will also evolve with that role. So yeah, that's true. So like I would like to ask you that as you have worked for many firms and working still in a very great firm, which is a fintech firm. So what mission and vision have
Uh-huh.
you in your life?
Uh, I so I've always had next 1 or 2 goals in mind. I am not a sort of person who makes a 5-year or 10-year plan. That has never been my approach, and because I really don't think I can make that longer plan and stick to it. So I always make short-term goals, short to medium goals, and I try to sort of stick to them. So when I completed my engineering, went into software engineering role. After a year and a half, I realized that this is what I want to do. So that became my short-term goal. That I want to get into a good business school, and for that I need to crack a certain exam and the recruitment, the selection process. So that sort of became my short-term goal. Once you get into a business school, you know what role you want to get into. So that sort of becomes your short-term goal. Right now, my short to medium-term goal is to grow as a product manager within Razorpay, and there are things that I know I want to improve on, and the things that I know that I want to, the skills that I want to acquire, right? So that's what I have in mind. So I think it's different for everyone, right? Some people make 5 to 10 year plan, and they are able to stick to it, and they are able to achieve it, and that is also fine. But personally, for me, I have found that this sort of approach works for me. I have like 1 or 2 short to medium term goals, and I sort of rest of the things rest of the things you backtrack and figure out, okay, what else do you need to do to sort of achieve those goals. So that has always been my way of looking at what's next for me.
Yes, that's true. Because in corporate firms, while working, like people like you, product managers, and many other people, those are working in the top positions in the companies. So they have some vision and vision, but it depends on different people do different, because many people have milestones. Many people have created themselves that I will improve day by day and just keep on improving. And as of now, like they don't have any mission and vision. They're just working on themselves. So that was also a great point that you told, that you have some things to improve, and that's great. That's really that's really a nice point you told. And I would like to ask you, as you only yourself told that you have worked for 3 years as a product manager. So like
Yeah.
you might be knowing this. Like, how is the life of the product manager? How is the life?
I would say it's very interesting, because something will go wrong every single day, and you will learn something new every single day. But jokes aside, it's a very it's a very high accountability role, and you have an opportunity to make an impact, but that opportunity comes with a lot of accountability, right? Because at the end, it's not, and I'm sure you've heard that myth that product manager is the CEO of the product. It couldn't be further from the truth. And there's a reason why that myth is so popular, because it sounds very glamorous. It sounds so cool to say that product manager is the CEO of the product. That couldn't be further from the truth. What is true is that it's a role that is high accountability, because as a product manager, if you're if you're owning a charter, you will more or less you will have a lot of say in how the energy of the pod will be spent. And by energy, I mean what your engineering teams are going to work on, what your analytics teams are going to work on, what your design teams, if you have a design heavy product. So you will have a lot of say and input into how that time will be spent. And time is money for the organization, right? In terms of the bandwidth also, and in terms of the opportunity cost also. Because if you make your team work on something which is not going to make an impact, there's an opportunity cost also, because those same people could have worked on something else, right? So that way it's a very high accountability role, because if you get it wrong, basically your team has worked on something which wasn't the right thing to do. And it's not that every single product manager gets everything right all the time. It's impossible. Even the best product managers, they get things wrong a lot of times. But the thing is that it's good if you know that you're wrong very early on. So that's what you asked me a question, how the role is. So I would say it's a role that requires a lot of communication with people, and a lot of information, intake from all the sources that you can get the information from. And it's fun. I mean, if you enjoy, this sort of work, if you like solving problems, if you get that, if you get that thrill, after solving the problem, you identified a problem, you figured out what you need to do, and you solved it, and you saw that, that problem was there, and with your efforts, that problem is not there now. The thrill that you get after that, if you like that sort of thing, it's a, great, it's a very rewarding career. If you are interested in those sorts of, if you're interested in, that kind of work.
All right, that's great. So, I would like to say that as you like to summarize that as you told about the role and life of the product manager. So, those people who are going into this domain or want to work in this domain, they need to be, know that they have to get a lot of challenges, and they should have some skills like team management and analytical skills with them in their mind, right?
And analytical skills and problem solving, are the, those are your basic, skills that you need in your day-to-day career, in your day-to-day work also. But an aspect that does not get talked a lot about is that you need to be, good communicator, not in terms of, giving speeches and all, but you will talk to a lot of people every single day. As a product manager, because you will work with different teams. If you are part of an engineering team, there are only 2 or 3 teams that you will sort of talk to, and same goes for other teams which are experts in their particular area. But as a product manager, you cut across a lot of cross-functional teams, and you talk to a lot of people every single day. So in order to make sure that, and there will be a lot of conflicting priorities every single time. So you need to say no a lot of times to a lot of people that won't like to hear no, right? How do you do that? How do you say no without, hampering the rapport that you have with them? So, that's one thing. How do you sort of get your engineering teams excited about the work that you want them to work on?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true. And I would like to tell that this way you told that, these things you should keep in mind, and these things are there in the product management thing. So yeah, that's true, because many of my colleagues and many of my friends are also in that domain. So yeah, they are experiencing that thing, and it's great. They are getting great learning in that domain. I would like to ask you, as you told about the teams. Okay, so like, what type of teams have you worked on, and how did you manage with those people with different types of personalities you face? How do you manage with them?
So the typical teams that as a product manager you work with are design teams, engineering teams, the analytics teams, the business stakeholders. Uh, it could be, and then you have your marketing. So every single feature would have someone who is getting impacted by that feature, right? If any change in the product that you make is going to end up impacting someone, it will be inside the company or outside the company, right? And in order to make sure that the feature or the change that you're making is a success, you need to communicate well with the impacted people well, right? If it's a positive impact, you sort of need to communicate that, how it's going to help them. And there will be negative impacts also, right? So how do you sort of make them understand why this change is happening?
Okay.
Right? I will give you an example. If let's say you are bringing in a new process that increases the work of a certain team in your organization, right? But that change is necessary because of any XYZ reason, and at the end everything gets tied up to your it could be if you're following the OKR methodology, which is objectives and key results, or if you just have general goals, right, for your pod. Every change that you make would sort of tie back to that. If you know that this is the right thing to do for the organization and for the goal, and it's going to negatively impact one of the stakeholders in your company, how do you sort of communicate to them, and how do you convince them that this is the right thing to do? Because if you don't onboard them, right, you can't get anything done, because at the end those are the people who are going to sort of implement them. You are going to build the product, but they are going to use it, right? So if they are not on board with the change that you're making, they're not going to use it, and your change will not be a success, right? Because it relies on them using it effectively, right? So you have the impacted people that you need to get on board with your change, and then you have your engineering teams also, because they have a lot of work from you have like 10-12 things, right? And let's say your engineering manager who is responsible for the planning and how many engineers are going to work on your item, who's at the end responsible for the delivery of the feature. He or she is going to ask you that why is this change important? Because so you should have a very convincing answer that why this change and why now, and why should the engineering team spend their bandwidth on this, right? And there's only one way you can convince your engineering stakeholders to spend time on that, is by showing them how the change that you're proposing positively impacts the goal or the OKR.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And you told
Right.
about the work. How do you manage with teams, and how to manage with the team with working with different types of teams like engineering, marketing teams. So that's great. That's the one thing that everyone should keep in mind. But what type of personalities do you handle in the product management? Like, you handle like lots of teams. Like, there might be people having some temper issues, like anger temper issues, or some temper issues. So how do you manage to calm them, or how do you handle those type of people?
I don't think I can give you a definite answer for this. Again, it depends a lot on the situation, whom you are dealing with. If they are if they are an external stakeholder like your customer themselves, then you pretty much take the bashing. But it's always good, and I'm not saying that as a person I'm always able to follow it, but I try as much as possible. It's always important to not lose sight of what the discussion is about and what is it that you are trying to solve. because every single discussion that you have within the organization hopefully will have a problem at the center of it, right? When there is an argument or there is a debate, it is always centered around a particular problem. As long as you make sure that the discussion does not lose sight of that particular problem, and you make sure that you bring everyone back if they digress from it, if you respectfully bring everyone back to the proper problem, hopefully you will be able to leave the room with a agreement, and with an agreement, and with a with a solution to the problem that you are discussing.
All right. Great. That was really, I got my answer because I had this query from a very long time, and I hope that audience is also getting the answers which they have in their mind. And also, like as you're working in this product management, like I get this a lot from my friends, and I think so that you also have heard this type of question, like, do we need to be from an elite college or any big company to go into this domain, or like how it is? Do we need to be from elite engineering college, then we need to do a MBA also from very top college? Is it true, or how?
I've also got this question a lot of times. I'll answer the first question. Do you even need an MBA for this? And do you need to be from an elite B school for this, or an elite engineering college, right? Quote unquote elite, right? So not at all. I mean, I've seen people who are doing very well in their product management careers without an MBA at all, right? It does help. It does help because it helps you bridge those gaps, in a very definite window. But there's nothing stopping you from bridging the skills that you need, on the job. And a lot of people make that transition, right, on the job. They either come from engineering backgrounds, they come from design backgrounds, or analytics backgrounds, or marketing backgrounds. So since product management, is a very generalist sort of role, and you need some sort of skills from all of these areas. If you come from one of these areas, you are sort of strong in that area, and then as you go along, you acquire sort of the other skills that you need as you go along. So there's nothing stopping, and I've seen it multiple times in my career also, that there are product managers who are doing extremely well in their careers without going to a B school.
So like, this is a myth, I would say. Like, people are just thinking that I need to be a top B school.
It's definitely not a deal breaker. Yeah, that I can say definitively, that it's definitely not a deal breaker. If you don't have an MBA, it's definitely not a deal breaker for you get into a product management.
All right. So like, any type of certifications are required for this product management, or like how can we become product manager?
So this is my personal opinion, so take it with a pinch of salt. But I'm not sure how much value that certificate itself adds to your profile, right? I think if you're doing a good course, it will add value in terms of the content, the skills that you learn, right? If you're learning something really well from that course, then there's a value add of that learning. But I'm not sure if getting that certificate itself is going to add anything, is going to add any weight to your profile.
Okay, so there's no certification required, right?
I don't think, but again, I would say this is my personal opinion, so take it with a pinch of salt.
So like, people need to do some courses from like product management courses, then only they can dive into this field, or they can directly dive into this field without having any courses?
So it's not really about the course. I mean, it's not that if you've done a course, you will sort of get a short list, and you will sort of get into a role. It's more about what you learn from that particular course, and how do you try to at least use those skills in your work. Or if you are if you have a side hustle, how you are utilizing the things that you've learned, and how you can demonstrate that that you did this course, you sort of use these skills in your work this way, right? I think that adds a lot more value and a lot more weight than having a certificate itself. But there are, I think, there are some certifications that there are some programs which are, dedicated 12 weeks to 16 weeks, and they sort of have a recruitment assistance also after that. But I'm not really well informed in that area, so I won't comment.
All right. So that's great. That's it. So the people, those who are really aspiring to be a product manager. So I think that's a great answer. You told that you need not do any courses, or if you have some knowledge, if you have some work out, then you can just go into this field. That was really good.
I'm saying you can do a course,
okay,
but not rely on the certificate, but use the learnings from the course and try to apply them in your work or any sort of side hustle that you might have.
All right. So that was a great answer, really informative answer. So now coming to the last part of the session. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much for being here with us and giving us time and giving us information about the product management and everything about the product management and all the myths. So
thanks for having me.
Anything you want to say for our audience and viewers? Anything you have in your mind to say?
I think, first of all, thanks for having me. I've checked out your channel, so a lot of good videos out there and a lot of good content. So I would say great work on getting this sort of content on your channel. I am sure, and I hope it definitely helps a lot of students who are looking for answers to the questions that you are sort of trying to answer with your content. So good luck with that.
All right. That was really great. And I would also like our audience and viewers to please subscribe this channel, as we would be coming with more product managers from big companies and telling about their real life experience and everything about the domain you need to know. So thank you. Special thanks to you, Ashish, for sparing your busy schedule and coming for this podcast. Thank you so much.